if you put 100 testimonials on your website, they will read them all. It is just amazing. I've talked to hundreds of people who hire speakers, and they all saying the same thing. Testimonials are gold. So they have to be, you go to any organization, any audience, you're looking at who's going to refer me to another stage. And number two, how can I get testimonials from the majority of the audience? Those are the two things that you're after. Okay. And this is one of the tools that we are using out there in the world. Talkadot is what you want to put in the blank there, herenextyear.com/Talkadot. Talkadot is a free tool, actually. It is free to get started with this. You can get 100 people to give testimonials and complete the forms. What you do is once you get this account, you go through a short process, and then it will produce for you a QR code that you put at the end of your PowerPoint slides. Or if you don't use PowerPoint at all, then you have one slide in PowerPoint, or make a display, like this. I've got a QR code in my shirt. There's all kinds of ways to display a QR code, and then say, okay, we're at the end of the presentation. Please go download a document I've prepared for you as a bonus. And to get there, there's going to be a couple of questions for you to answer. And it comes out in this kind of a form. So you can use these output promotional graphics in your own promotions, but all of the feedback is captured within this Talkadot product, including testimonials that you can use. And there's some kind of magic with Talkadot. I don't know what it is, but more people answer a little field question in there than anything I've ever seen. And the question is, do you know anybody that needs to talk to this speaker about speaking at another location? And it's just mind-boggling. I had from the Toastmasters talk, I had almost 200 people from the audience go through my QR code, and I got like 60 people that said, I'm still following. It was August, and I'm still following up with people that said, we need to have you come speak at this location. That's just Talkadot. I mean, I've never had that kind of lead generation from audiences before Talkadot. So we're all using this. I mean, NSA globally, most professional speakers are using Talkadot in their presentation to bring people through the process of leaving a testimonial and getting a lead for a future stage. It's free up to a point. You get 100 people. Once you've exceeded 100 people giving comments or adding a record into the system, then you got to pay for it. And you pay for it it's like $300 a year or something, and you're done. And you can set as many of these QR codes as you want. It's just one of the brilliant tools out there that was developed.
Marty, go back to the Talkadot for a sec. Is there a place on here that allows for the author of the comment or the testimonial to put their initials or position?
Mm-hmm. Yep, they put their name in there, and they authorize if you can use it or not. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And their email address is captured as well, if you so choose to ask for email addresses. There's a bunch of settings in there that you just go through and play with. Mm-hmm. They even have an autoresponder. I haven't used the autoresponder yet because I'm really email and I have an awkward relationship. Let's put it that way. So I don't trust that even something like Talkadot is going to deliver email more than it's going to cost me in support calls. Because if somebody's expecting something to be sent by email and an autoresponder, I'll bet 30% of those people are going to email me and say, I didn't get it. I didn't get the email. So out of my day, I have to drop everything. So I'd rather just give everything that I need to give them in a downloadable file, and then I have their email address, and I can use my own email system to send them updates and things like that. So, but other than that, great system. All right, so here's the next on your worksheet is I will acquire the two most important things, photos and videos. Second to testimonials, You need to show photos and videos of you being on stage. And even if you're just starting and your audiences are small, take pictures, show the audience, take pictures from behind. I actually have a document for you to go look at. If you go to my LinkedIn profile, go to my profile page and scroll down to where the featured section is. Everybody has one. Everybody has a featured section in their LinkedIn profile. You'll see a graphic that says Get Speaking Now. If you click on that, that will take you to my LinkedIn newsletter, which you should subscribe to. And one of those articles, you'll have to go pretty far down to get it, but the title is Will You Take My Picture When I'm Speaking on Stage? And the reason I titled it that is because that's what we wind up doing when we're speakers. We find somebody in the audience that we recognize, or maybe we don't, and we say, "Can you take a picture of me when I'm on stage, please?" And unfortunately, nobody knows how to do that. What they usually do is they'll walk right up to you on the stage, and there you are on the stage, and they'll take a picture of you, but that does nothing because it doesn't show the audience. So I have a whole grid of ways to educate your photographer. Even if you hire a photographer to take your picture while you're on stage and video, they don't know what to do. They don't know how to take pictures of speakers. So you give them this list of an image of your presentation room and then where you want pictures taken from, so that you show you from the side, for example, and you're showing the audience and the audience reaction at the end. When you get a standing ovation, everybody's clapping. You want a picture from the front of the room of the audience doing that, or at least from the back, and then you're still on stage. But there's a list of ways that you can educate your photographer to get those pictures, and make sure that you're working with places that offer video, that it's in your contract that you're going to get copies of that video as well. But just, one of those real important things, pictures and video. So the speaking opportunities, as I've said already before, the gold is in your audience. So as you're going through and you've got that Talkadot QR code screen that pops up, your goal is to get at least a third of everybody in that audience to complete that that Talkadot sequence of steps so that they get the download at the end. It's a bonus that you're offering, and in exchange, you're getting this great feedback. But that's where all that's going to come from. I hear about people saying, I'm sending emails every day, I'm calling, cold calling, looking up conferences, contacting their directors, filling out speaker applications for conferences. Great. You got to do all that stuff. You really got to do it all. The difficult part is when somebody will send an email into me and they'll say, I'm going to give up on this speaking thing. It's just not working. I'm not getting on any stages. And I'll say, well, how many people have you contacted? Well, two. That was a couple weeks ago. What? Two? It has to be every day. You need to be contacting people every day. You need to make your own plan. Something that works for you, is within your budget, within your resources, something you like to do. How often are you going to be on LinkedIn answering people's questions, contributing to posts? There's all kinds of ways that you can be visible online, but the key is it all comes back to the audience. You have to see every audience as absolute gold for more speaking opportunities. So here are a couple of places with that in mind. Where can you get to these audiences? One of those that immediately you can jump into is 1 Million Cups. 1 Million Cups is all over the country. There are many locations. You can usually sign up for 1 Million Cups and be on their stage a week later. They have always once a month, sometimes twice a month, depending on the location, meetings, and there's usually 40 to 60 people. I'm seeing that consistent across the country. And what you do is you get 5 minutes. You get 5 minutes to present your business. And the way you get on to 1 Million Cups is you say, this is a new business I'm starting, and I would like advice from the audience. So you present your business, present your topic, give a couple of core instructions in your presentation, and then you open it up for suggestions. where can I speak? What are the channels I can bring this to? Who knows people that need me to be on stage with them? And they almost always at 1 Million Cups video all the presentations. So you can walk in there and walk out with B-roll for a sizzle reel and a video to put on YouTube. And there's no charge for 1 Million Cups. They might have a charge for the video unless you bring your own little video cartridge. So you might ask what kind of video camera they have so that you can bring something with you. But it's so easy to get in 1 Million Cups. You could go to 5 of them within the next 2 months and get on those stages. And why would you do that? Because the gold is in your audience.
Can you say that question one more time? What you say to them?
What question?
You said this is a new business.
Well,
Was something that you followed up with after that.
Everybody that speaks there, the whole operation is about introducing new businesses to a crowd and then getting suggestions for how to build that business, how to grow the business. So you're essentially getting the end of your 5-minute talk and you say, well, that's my concept, that's my business, I'm taking that out to the road. I would personally suggest asking for what type of stages and what channels. A channel would be the health channel. Another channel would be middle schools. Another channel might be military. So what kind of channels would you suggest that I pursue with this message? And then you just open up the floor to people giving you suggestions. And they'll just raise their hand and say, well, yeah, I work for the circus, and there's this whole group of presenters that present at our circuses. I don't know, I'm just throwing out an example, but people will supply channels to you that you never thought of. And it's really interesting how you can present your topic and they'll say, oh, I belong to this organization that makes bow ties, and they really need to hear you speak. I can't believe they've never had anybody speak on this topic before, and you just never heard about it. You never thought about it in that kind of channel. It's a great.
You
great
take a Talkadot to that group?
Absolutely. Oh,
Okay,
absolutely.
good.
Oh,
Good.
absolutely. Yep. And they're used to it. They're used to it, by the way. So, and it would be even more important for something like that to offer a bonus. Say, I know I only have 5 minutes here, but I have something that, it could save your life. So I put together a little checklist for you of how to get started with this. If you'd like access to that, then just complete this Talkadot form. Give me a little bit of feedback. At the end of it is this document you can download. You're good to go.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Another one is Ignite. I was looking for an Ignite around Chicago and I couldn't find one. But what you do is you go, and what's strange is that Ignite does not have what I'd call a main website where you can find all their locations. But if you type in Ignite and then a city near you, or maybe it would be St. Louis, I'm sure there's one there, or not St. Louis. What is the Indianapolis. So if you just kind of go around all the cities that are nearby and type in the word Ignite and then that, and you'll eventually come up with an Ignite location. Now we have one in Denver and we have one in Boulder. The one that I went to in Boulder had 2,500 people at it. I couldn't believe it. It was huge. And what it is, again, another free way to get in front of a lot of people. But what they do is they have you deliver a PowerPoint presentation. It's all PowerPoint based. And I think it's every 15 seconds, your slide changes automatically. So you prepare a PowerPoint presentation that is only it's like 6 minutes or something. It's really short. And every 15 seconds, your slide rotates automatically. So they work with you. They have coaches, and it's usually more movement based. So if there's some kind of a movement that you're trying to start, then that would be your topic. That would be what would be of interest to them. But just last month, the Denver location that usually has about 200 or 300 people at the Denver Ignites. Weird that Boulder has more than Denver, but the Denver location, right up until the week that they are going to have Ignite, they still had 2 openings for a speaker. I couldn't believe it. So again, these places that bring in these amazing audiences, they're more easily accessible than you think they are. So you just have to find them and then apply for them, put your topic in there, and get ready for a call. I mean, you'll have to go do a couple of rehearsals, but again, they're video recorded, and there's people in those audiences. Now, in that case, in Ignite, they probably would not let you have a QR code up there. There's just not enough time. I mean, you'd have to just have the thing on there the whole time that you're speaking, because there wouldn't be enough transition time between the two, because they're going right into the next speaker. They usually have 14 speakers in a row, one right after another. But you would have the exposure, and you'd have the video, and you could have a friend take pictures of you in front of all these people, and that's great for your website. No charge for Ignite. Here's another one that is sweeping the country. It's called Disrupt HR. If you, it started out that the audience was made up of almost all HR managers and personnel, but it has expanded to business owners and CEOs, and it's just all over the place now. One of my friends drove 10 hours to Kansas City, I think it was, and spoke at her first Disrupt. And they liked her so much, they actually paid her to fly to Boise, Idaho, to give a keynote, a full 45-minute keynote, before they started the rest of the Disrupt presentations. And it's just like Ignite. They do the same thing. You have a PowerPoint presentation that automatically progresses forward, and you get the benefit of being in front of all these people who are involved with companies, local companies in that area. So you could, if you're in a central location, you could find 3 or 4 of these, and for the next 3 months, you could be on Disrupt HR stages. I mean, so that, I'm just kind of planting the seed here that there are a lot of ways to get on stage that most people don't think even exist until you get introduced to them, and then they're there, and now you can build your schedule. And I know, Daryl, you've got a tricky schedule to work around, but if you knew something was happening in advance and you got on that stage and knew that it was going to be worth it and it was close by, I mean, it's right there. You can work your work schedule around something like Disrupt and get on that stage. It's a great way to go. So again, you just go to these websites and start applying to be on them. And here's another one I like, 10times.com. They have an events section of this website. If it's an established event, it's probably going to be on there. And then they want you to sign up and pay for it and everything. But as long as you have the name and the date of an event, you can circumvent that. You can go search Google and you'll get to the same event. They just feature them all there, and they have a really good filtering system, so you can just find events that are related to your industry of focus, get a list of them, and then go visit those websites. Find the place where the contact person, sometimes it's a contact page, sometimes it's a request for speakers form that you fill out, and then keep track of it. So you need to that's another topic, is keeping track of all those contacts, but that's a great resource for you. And then here's another one that you could, if while you're listening here, you could go actually sign up for this if you want. It's one of the tools that we offer within Speakers Speak Live. This is an AI produced tool for speakers that one of our participants created for me, Greg Jameson. He is the guy on the ski lift, one of my skier buddies, that his label is the AI commissioner. I haven't found anybody yet that knows more about AI than this guy. So he created this program for us to use for free at Speakers Speak Live that you will have access to, and you go sign up for it. And essentially what you do is you go to the opportunities area, and then you plug in what's your topic that you want to speak on. Leadership. All right. I put that just in there for fun. Topic you want to speak about: employee engagement, and then what city are you located in or region? I put California, and then what kind of compensation do you want? Why I want to see paid opportunities, and I want them to be live in person. So you just kind of fill out those forms, and I've got a result of 40 places that I can hunt down and go research further and see who their contact person is, find out more about the event, and then contact them from there. So yeah, the challenge with this is as you get more into this whole process, and Steve, I'm going to put you into this too. I know you had all these places that you spoke at, but there's an overwhelming sort of a vibe out there that it's really difficult to find where the speaking opportunities are. And there are enough tools out there now that it's really surprisingly easy. That's not the problem. The challenge that all of us have is dedicating chunks of time to following the opportunities, the leads that all these tools provide us. That's not easy. That's a hard part. And then to take the next step to actually do something about it and make contact with people. Oh no, what if I call this person and I think I'm going to leave a message and they pick up the phone? What am I going to say then? Oh no, I want to leave a voicemail. This is what I speak about. If you want me to come speak for you, here, call me. I don't want anybody to pick up the phone. I mean, people are really afraid of picking up the phone and calling. And I mean, it doesn't work as well as it used to, because if you're not in my contact list on my phone, I'm not picking it up. Sorry, I'm going to wait for a voicemail. I just don't have the time for the interruption. I'd rather just find out why it is you're calling. I'll call you back if I want. But now the trend is to leave a message and say, I'm going to follow this up with an email because I've got your email address. You're the main contact for this event. I'm going to send some preliminary information. I'm going to call back tomorrow at 11 o'clock in the morning and see if you're available. Maybe we can have a discussion. Okay, so that's how we are connecting with these people, is leaving the voicemail, expecting the voicemail, send the email, set a time that you're going to call back, and you might wind up leaving a voicemail. Maybe they'll reply to email, and then you can reply to that email and say, oh, well, I guess the phone didn't work, but how about if we set up a Zoom meeting so that I can get more details about what you're looking for? So this all comes back to, you got to get them on Zoom. Phone isn't even as good anymore. I really hopefully inspire you to try to get your potential decision makers onto a Zoom call, because they need to see you speak. Period. They need to see you speak. So as front end of the sales process as you can possibly get it, they need to see you speak live. So when you get them on Zoom, you get to show them your energy, you get to show them your smile, you get to show them that you love to talk about this topic and you're excited about it, and they're going to want that excitement to transfer over to their audience. That's why you do it. And you got to get them on Zoom. We didn't have that. Zoom was around 10 years ago, but we didn't have that strategy 10 years ago. That's what everybody's doing. Get them on Zoom as fast as you can. So you can go at any time, whether you already did, you can sign up for this, speakerspeaklive.com. You're all set up. If you ever want to attend Speaker Speak Live, the event, you're already in there. You'll get notices about the Zoom link and the time and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, if for nothing else, just go sign up to get access to that AI tool, because it is amazing. You can go through all the different fields there. So another one, once you get a little bit more, yeah, go ahead, Walt.
It's less relevant in the west part of the country than it is in the east, and it's less relevant in this time in society than it was 20 years ago. What's the right thing to wear?
Depends on your audience. That depends what your decision maker wants you.
If my topic is culinary and I've got a logoed company, do I wear my chef jacket? Is it more appropriate to wear a t-shirt, or is it more appropriate to wear something else? How do you how do you gauge what the right thing, because you don't want to walk in with the wrong thing on. Because
That's right. Absolutely. And
perception, that first moment of perception is important.
Yep, there's two ways to handle that. Number one is I always go with what the client wants. So I would ask, tell me about speakers you've had in the past. What have they worn? What does your audience wear? I always go by that. I want to look a little bit more formalized than my audience. So I find out what they are wearing and then just go a little bit step over that. When I'm in Colorado, I don't wear a full suit ever. Of course, I don't wear a full suit anymore, no matter what. It's more of I've got my blue jacket. I'm known for my blue jackets. I've got a blue suit to match, but I always wear a black T-shirt under it, so that sort of calms the formality. I'm just too fun-loving to be so formal. So no tie anymore. Even though I grew up on the East Coast, I don't wear a tie unless they tell me you're going to have to dress up. This is a banquet for a bunch of finance professionals. Everybody there is going to be wearing $4,500 suits. You got to look good when you go on that stage. No t-shirts, no flip-flops. They're going to tell you. I mean, they're going to have a dress code,
Okay.
and you want to be consistent with that. So I'd go with that first, until you have something in your branding that if you walk out there in a cooking some kind of attire that is related to being the chef, and it's in your presentation where you use that, you're golden. That's just how it has to be, and the audience will appreciate it that you've stayed true to your branding.
Got it. Thank you.
Great question. So here's another one that once you get a little bit more established, Charlie Jane is something where you can just buy their lists outright. They have people that scour the web and they look for conferences, almost exclusively conferences, and they'll put the description what the conference is, when you're supposed to submit. They actually have them sorted by month that you need to submit a request to speak at these groups. They work with you to prepare your proposal. When you fill out these forms, they've got all these suggestions for that. So it's a great list to be part of. One of my speaker friends, he has a virtual team of 5 people. 5 people. All they do all day long is they work with Charlie Jane, this list, and one other list to submit calls for speaker forms all week long. I mean, we're talking like 50 to 70 submissions a week, because they take a while. It usually takes about 1 to 2 hours to complete a submission form for a call to speakers for a conference. And I mean, he's booked all the time and he travels all over the world. And it's no wonder why, because he's got this whole team that procures all of these conference forms and fills them out and submits them in. And again, it comes back to that numbers game. It's all just a numbers game. But one of the big lists that he uses is Charlie Jane, because he can afford it. He's making $10,000 to $20,000 a keynote. So why would he not subscribe to something like this? So it's obviously something that a lot of people would not subscribe to right out of the gate. They got to go the free route first to start having proof of concept that this is something you grow into. So that's again why I'm recording this. Might not be the right fit for you now, but this is one of the leaders if you want to be a conference speaker and get in front of 1,000 person, 2,000 to 3,000 person audiences. Another one that's emerging that you should consider pretty soon, sooner than later, is Speaker Hub. Speaker Hub has been around for a long time. Another good friend of mine has still another company that worked, trying to remember the company, PitchDB, that's what it was called, PitchDB. And the idea is that it would pull email addresses from LinkedIn, and you use PitchDB to find speaking opportunities and send out email inquiries through the system that he had. Well, this guy bought Speaker Hub just in 2024 and revamped it. So I'm considering this to be the next evolution of how we are all going to get speaking opportunities. If you go watch this video, speakerhubpro.com/Marty1, I interviewed Ron Story is the guy's name. I interviewed Ron for about 45 minutes, and he walked me through the system as if I've never seen it before. So he went in, he had me start a new account, and we went all over the system, and he explained how it worked. But essentially he's got thousands, I mean, literally thousands and thousands of podcasts in there and event contacts, and you just find, like filtering, you figure out what focus you want for speaking opportunities, and it whittles it down. It whittles down this list, and then you create an email that goes out, and it sends out an inquiry on your behalf for speaking. And he's got proof of numbers right on the website that if you send out just 2 daily connections, that is 10 a week, that's 40 a month. You're going to have an outcome of 48 podcast appearances per year just based on the system. Associations that you send out to, the same thing. 3 daily, so you don't have to send out, like, we're not talking sending out 500 emails at a time. These are, 5 a day, maybe 10 a day. And based on how many you send, yeah, you're going to get charged more. But there's a core every month that you are allotted to send, which you can have a VA do. You don't need to do this yourself, but you have this constant stream of replies coming in saying, yeah, we do have an event coming up in September. We'd like to talk to you about that. Tell us more about what your topic is. So it's just being out there. It's just a matter of numbers being out there as much as you possibly can. But this is one to watch. We're actually, I'm working on with Ron. Shouldn't say this on recording because it's so new. Nobody knows we're doing it yet. But we have Speakers Speak Live, right? We have all these participants in there. What we're going to do is within Speaker Hub, remember I showed you e-speakers and the profiles in there? Well, you do the same thing with Speaker Hub. You have a profile, you put your picture up there, your speaking topic, your programs, all that stuff. We're going to link that with Speakers Speak Live and create a directory of speakers on our own. So anybody that is part of Speakers Speak Live that has a profile in here, we're going to be able to promote those speakers, kind of like a speakers bureau, and have them available through the Speaker Hub Pro. And there's no charge to do that. That's the crazy thing. So I suggest everybody goes and at least starts a new account at Speaker Hub, and just keep it on your radar that this is the new evolution of how we're going to be getting speaking gigs. And make sure to go to that /Marty1 so that you get to watch the interview. All right, so here's the big tamale. This is for those making 10,000 or more in a presentation. Again, something that you might not use right now, but a year, 2 years down the road, this might be a tool for you to investigate. Sam Richter is a very high-profile speaker in National Speakers Association, and he created a tool to help himself, and he calls it Intel Engine. Make sure to spell it right when you go there. And yep, there's a monthly charge for that too. Just something that is worthy of an investment. And what this does is it works off of Google. It goes to Google and essentially looks at the events that Google has listed, so you don't have to go searching for them, and uses a filter to show you the events coming up based on Google search and what's out there over the next 2-3 years. I mean, for these big conferences, speakers are already booking into 2026, not even 25, but 26. So you need to know what events are out there way in advance. And that is what this Intel Engine enables you to be able to do, to find all those before anybody else even has them listed. So many tools, so many great options. And here is Joe's book again. I already talked about this before. I strongly suggest that you just go order this, even the ebook. I had somebody that my company actually published this book. This is one of the ones that we produced. We were able to get his 38-year seminar into a book format for people to use. There are scripts in there for you to follow when you do get people on the phone. When you call someplace, you're not even sure where or who to talk to, well, that's the place to go, because he gives you a step-by-step sequence. Dial the phone, you get the person on the phone that is like the admin person, and you essentially say, well, I'm a speaker. Who would I talk to about an event that you have coming up? He walks you through this whole, even though he's not with us anymore, he still educates us how to talk to people and get to the right decision maker and what to say. So that's an important one. And then, yep, I have Lois's new book in here. I wasn't sure if I put this on last week or not. It was just 2 weeks ago when Lois Kramer launched her second edition of Book More Business, Make Money Speaking. This is another great book to go buy. It's the Bible in the industry. Every NSA chapter I know of gives this book away at their speaker academy. There's a training 6-month training period for new speakers coming into the NSA chapters around the country, and they just give this book out to attendees because Lois is just so good with contracts and the questions you should be asking when you're on the phone with decision makers, all of that, which I have a list of questions to send to you. Also, this is all part of a little bonus package I put together for you to go through that I knew let me just take an inventory of our time. Yep. Okay. Right where I want to be. I knew we wouldn't get to some things in that level of detail, but that's okay, because you can just investigate all those on your own from what I'm going to send to you. And here's this is kind of getting to the end of um, the tools section here, but you can always on your own go to images.google.com and just search for the word event and then your topic of focus. So event, health, or wellness, whatever. Event, communication, event, food, or recipes, or cooking, or chef, or whatever. There's so many possibilities, and you'll get last year's images, and the year before that, and the year before that, and the year before that. So you'll know the name of the event from last year, and a lot of times you'll be able to go to those old websites and see, oh, well, they just had their event in October 2024. They're probably not looking for a speaker quite yet. They're still recovering from their week-long conference. But I'm going to put it in my little tickler to check in with them in January and ask the question, when are you looking for new speakers for your next conference coming around in October of 2025? And they'll give you a date, and they'll say, well, we'll be launching our call for speakers in March. So make sure to check back then. So that's what you do. You put a little note in your CRM, and now you know to go check that out. Again, this is something that VAs are notorious for helping with. All you have to do is provide them with the instruction of what to do, what kind of places to look for. They can even send out an initial email for you, and then you get the reply and then take it from there. It's just a lot of work. If you do it on your own, it can be done. You don't have to pay anybody to do it if you do it on your own, at least to get started. But you do need the sequence, and that's why I'm showing the sequence. LinkedIn is another great one. We already talked about replying to posts. I have LinkedIn export under that because I want to suggest to you that you export your LinkedIn connections. You want a real jump start in speaking. What you do is you create a speaker one sheet, and I'll have a little template for you to follow. I didn't want to spend too much time on one sheets today, because we could spend 3 hours on designing a website or a one sheet. What I'd rather do is send you a template that you can use, and then ask me any questions that you have. It's easier that way, and then all you have to do is fill in the blank, have a designer create the content for you. But what you do with that one sheet is what's important. So what you do is you go to LinkedIn, go to your profile, and go to settings, and then click on that link, and then on the left, data privacy, and then the next thing to click on is get a copy of your data. And then you'll get to an export screen. and you want to choose that radio button, want something in particular, well, yeah, we want connections. So you'll export all of your connections in LinkedIn. And only a few of them will have email addresses, but that's okay because you're going to get names of all your connections, and then you'll have this big Excel spreadsheet. I mean, a lot of people have over 1,000 connections in LinkedIn, and they don't even realize it. So I call that your top 1,000. Even if you have 4,000 connections or 5,000 in there, the objective here is to sort that spreadsheet to your, what I call your golden 1,000. Narrow it down so you have 1,000 contacts in a contact list in an Excel file. And then you make if you already have a one sheet for speaking, then you make a little change to it. If you don't have a one sheet, you come up with the one sheet, and then you send, every day, make a schedule that you send a private message, a direct message on LinkedIn to say 10, maybe 15, maybe 20 of your connections with a message in there that says, "Hey, John, just wanted to let you know I have added something to my speaker platform. It's described in this one sheet. I'd love it if you know of a stage that I should appear on. If you could recommend me to this, it's a really important topic." And you keep your pitch very short. And then what I like to do is upload my one sheet to my website. So there's herenextyear.com/PDF/ and then the URL for my one sheet. And then I'll copy and paste that link into the direct message and say, "Here, go check it out. Let me know if you have anybody that I should talk to." So just every day for the next few months, you're sending out 10, 15 of these. It's copy and paste. It's going to that list that you have, that top 1,000, checking it off. You've got it in a spreadsheet already. You have a column, and you say, "Yep, sent, 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 sent." What was the response? "Hey, I got a reply from that one. I'm going to follow up." So you just keep adding notes in your Excel spreadsheet. There's no charge to that. You don't have to invest in a CRM for that. Your Excel spreadsheet is your CRM, at least for this. It's not a lead until somebody replies to you. So why put all of that into your CRM and clog it up? And if you're wondering what CRM stands for, it stands for contact relationship manager. So it's what you use to maintain history. You can spend a lot of money in in CRM systems, or you can have sticky notes, whatever it is. You can have, a notebook full of contacts that you just write down people's names. That's your CRM. Everybody has a CRM, even if you don't have one. The idea is, when is it time for you to upgrade to one that you're going to wind up paying for? And that's if and when you get to a more serious level of speaking where you need to keep track of all of that. Like I said, that's, I'm just kind of not pulling any punches here. I'm not beating around the bush. It's not easy, but it's doable, and lots of tools to help you automate, and lots of help for you to be able to do that as well. So one thing I always like to make sure before we are done with our session is that you know how to connect with people. And if you look at this QR code, if you go to your LinkedIn on your phone, the reason I keep harping on LinkedIn is because LinkedIn is where the decision makers are for speakers. So if you don't use LinkedIn, if you're not on LinkedIn every day, as you get more involved in speaking, that's going to change. That is going to change because that is where the decision makers are, is on LinkedIn. So you want to know everything you can about LinkedIn. And if you go to your search box on LinkedIn, when you get there, you're going to see this little squiggly thing right here. And if you tap on that squiggly thing, see if I can do this in reverse. There we go. You have a built-in QR code in LinkedIn that is just for you. So you can use that when you go to networking events and have people connect with you. And you can connect, well, I think I'm connected with all you guys, but you could practice that right now if you want. You could just go to LinkedIn and hold your phone up and have whoever's not connected with you, you could just have one person scan and the other person have your QR code up to practice. I don't know why. This is one of the most neglected tools that LinkedIn has. Not a lot of people know that that exists, but it's so important to do that so that once you've connected on your phone, there's another feature, and I'll use Steve as an example here. So Steve, I'm going to go to your LinkedIn profile, and there you are. So I have his profile up here on the top, and then see the blue button that says message right there? If I tap on message, now what appears at the bottom is a message box, right? At the very bottom. If I tap inside of that, hold on a minute. Make sure I'm doing this. Yep, message. There it is. Okay. So right next to that message text box is this on the left, a little paperclip. When you tap that paperclip, there we go. One of those choices says take a photo or video. So you can go right into that and a video screen pops up. And now I can record a video and send it to Steve. So I'm gonna, let's see, I'm gonna turn my camera around so I see both of you, right? Okay, so I'm gonna go, I don't want to take a picture, I want to take a video, so I need to tap that video. And then I'm going to hit my record, so I'm recording now. Whoops. Get that going the right direction, there we go. Hey Steve, great to see you on our show today. And now I can send that to Steve. And then I have to click the send button. Take that one more step. Okay. So now Steve is going to get that video. Now, with 10 or 15 or 20 people sending you a message on LinkedIn every day, do you think you'd open a video that was sent to you? Oh, yeah. You might not look at all your direct messages as text, but you'll open a video. Why? Because that's different. That's what speakers do. So you find somebody on LinkedIn that you want to get connected with, or you meet them at a conference, you find, oh, well, you're in charge of bringing in speakers at next year's conference. Great. Can we get connected on LinkedIn? Sure. So here's my QR code. You're connected right at the conference. You go back to your hotel room, and that night you send a video. Hey, Cynthia, it was great to meet you. I can't wait to talk to you about next year's conference. I'd love to be on your stage. Great to meet you. Let's keep the conversation going. Done. Video sent. There's another $1 million tactic there for you. You could do that with anybody. You could even do that with authors. You want to connect with some high profile people, find people that have published books and connect with them and say, hey, I just wanted to let you know, Joe Saba, that I read your book and this is a total life changer. You're welcome to use this as a testimonial. I really recommend to everybody who owns a business that they read this book, especially chapter 6, where you brought up how important it is, blah, blah, blah. My name is Marty Dickinson. My main website is herenextyear.com. Video sent. You think you're going to get a response by that author? Of course you are. LinkedIn is one of the only ways that you can have a direct access to virtually anybody out there. So there's a tactic for you to add to your list of outbound marketing for speaking opportunities. When you go out getting testimonials from people, you're going to have to teach them how to give you a testimonial. So what I'd like to challenge you to do is, not now, but somewhere within the next day or so you don't forget and you remember what we went over today, I'd like to suggest that you practice giving a testimonial for this program. So this program, the name of the program, Get Speaking for Cash and Clients. So your name, your website, because I want, you know, if you're putting the time into giving a testimonial, I want to give you reverse publicity. So I'm going to say what your name is. What is your website? And then I just attended. One thing that I walked away with was, and then who is a good fit for something like this? If you are a business owner, a new speaker, I strongly suggest that you attend the next Get Speaking for Cash and Clients. My name is Marty Dickinson. My website is. You always start with the name and the website at the beginning and end it at the, or bring it in at the end as well. So use that framework, have it handy whenever you suggest to somebody that I'd love for you to give me a testimonial, especially a decision maker for an association. You might not get testimonials from people in the audience. Sometimes contracts have rules against that, but you can get a testimonial from the decision maker that brought you in. And for that, you say, here's the framework that I'd like you to talk about how I did with these steps. So another $1 million moment for you that most people don't bring into their presentations. So we are officially at the end of this whole session, and it gives you one last opportunity. We talked about Talkadot and how important it is. You as a speaker need to experience Talkadot so that you can effectively instruct your audience how to use it so that they actually do. So I invite you now to use this QR code. Bring it, if you're not used to using QR codes, you just go to your camera and then hold that camera so the whole QR code can be displayed, and then a little yellow stripe will pop up and you just tap on that, and then you're going to be brought to the location. You can also just go to talk.ac/Marty Dickinson. That'll take you to the same place. You may or may not have to use the word cash to actually get through the screens there. Sometimes it asks, sometimes it doesn't. I haven't figured that part out yet, what makes that happen versus not. But on the back end of that, I will be sending you a bonus, whether you go through the whole thing or not. You're still going to get this bonus from me. I have to add a couple of things just from today, so it's not automatically linked. Normally what happens, you go through the fields and then you download this file. I didn't put that file in there. I need to add a couple things that I'm going to send to you, and then that'll be good.